We're going to talk about how to do it right this year. Okay, what's it look like?
Like, I don't know.
Subscribe to the channel. You know you should.
Really, when God convicts, it's this nagging feeling that you have to make it right.
I mean, it's almost like a relationship with a father, but like you're going to scared you're going to get in trouble with, or you know you shouldn't be doing it and you're doing it, and so you don't even want to talk about it.
To take a step in the dark is scary. But we don't walk alone. God goes before us, beside us, and is a light unto our path. God calls us to take that first step, to put one foot in front of the other, to walk with boldness, knowing that He will illuminate every one of our steps, to trust Him and walk by faith, not by sight. He promises to be a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path, in whatever season of life, in whatever circumstance of life. So whether it's a new year, a new season, or a new day, we don't go at it alone. God goes before us. He lights each one of our steps. He fuels our faith with the same power that raised Christ from the dead, empowering us to keep putting one foot in front of the other. In the midst of darkness, remember that He knows the way. He has a plan for your today and all of your tomorrows. So today, with every step that you take, remember that He is with you. Remember that He is for you. Remember that He is constant. And remember that He is never changing. He knows exactly where you've been, and He knows exactly where you're going. So may you walk in the light of His truth. And may you always put your trust in the one who will forever be the light unto your path.
My name is Scott Mendenhall. If you're brand new, hopefully that inspires you. We are a YouTube channel and a church. We are a church that exists physically here in Minnesota, the Twin Cities in Minnesota, but we also reside here every week right here to inspire you to change, not because of what we say, but because of who we are speaking on the behalf of, which is God, who sent Jesus to die on a cross for him. Like I said, my name is Scott Mendenhall. We are joined with the ever famous Joey Sonnenfeld. How we doing, Joey?
I am doing well. Doing well.
Fresh off a victory against Holly and I
we played
pickleball.
We played some pickleball yesterday, and my wife and I won. You guys won one game, but
best out of three, they got us. First two were close. The last one, we didn't show up. I don't know what happened. And then we got Lily over here.
Hey, happy New Year. Doing good.
Lily, what was one of the coolest things you got for Christmas this year?
I got a new Bible that I'm literally obsessed with.
Why?
Yeah,
what?
What's the...
Why what?
Why
are you getting a new Bible, or why?
No. I know why you get so many Bibles. I'm not. This is a good question.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. I should have brought it. I was contemplating.
Okay,
but it's just gorgeous, and
it's gorgeous. Like it's pink or something.
It's leather, soft leather bound.
But like, is something?
I'll bring it next week.
Different on the inside? Is it just straight the Bible, no footnotes?
It's new to me. No, it's an ESV study Bible.
Lily does have the cough, and I speak that as if it's been just going around. Joey had it first, I think.
I did.
And he had it for like a month or so, and I had it for a month or so. It's kind of, we've handed it off to Lily. Thank you for carrying that torch for us, Lily.
Happy to.
Yeah, you're thrilled about it.
She's so happy about it.
Yeah, she's like, get out of here. So we hope everyone at home is doing great. This is what is it? Sunday the 5th is where this is dropping live for you. And so for us, we've come out of Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. So we hope everyone's doing great on this side of New Year's. Hopefully your New Year's Eve into New Year's Day was awesome and phenomenal. My family and I, we played night hockey on New Year's Eve, which was so much fun. We went out and took floodlights on our lake, and we played hockey. That's the way to bring the new year.
Hockey till midnight?
It was not hockey to midnight. We started too early. We were going to do that, but we started at like 6 or 7. That would have been a lot of hockey.
That would have been a lot of hockey.
So I think we played 3 hours or something, and then we called it and went inside. So that was a great way to spend Christmas or New Year's Eve. What did you do, Joey?
Had a fire.
Inside or outside?
Inside the house.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we got Jacob, if you're watching, thank you again for checking out our chimney. But I have fires now, and I'm
Yeah,
super excited about it.
Yeah.
And that, we were just enjoying time together and watching whatever you call the ball drop.
Did you
I
actually
did not
watch
stay up till midnight,
was
though.
bad.
You didn't? Okay, I did.
No,
My whole
you did.
house did, all the way down to Revolution.
I think
it
we
was
stayed up
5.
till like 11.
What? You got that close and then gave up? Put in the chat if you stayed up to watch the ball drop for you. We're going to come to Lily. I already know the answer.
No, I was sick.
What? Oh.
I was so sick.
I think one year I can remember it was on a Saturday and I knew we had to get up at 5 a.m. for church. I said, I'm going to bed. I'm not watching the ball drop. But most of the time I stay up. But
I can't stand that late
well,
anyway.
you kind of don't.
what?
I went blank. Don't you see the ball drop like because of like different time zones?
Well, yeah, sure.
Depends
you could
on
watch it.
what you're watching.
Because
Yeah.
it's an hour before. You could actually watch, because every part of the world does a different way to celebrate the new year. I forget what they do in other cultures, but they do something that signifies it. Out here, when we were outside, fireworks were going off. It was pretty cool to see that at night. Yeah, right
I
at
heard
midnight.
fireworks.
I hear
Fireworks.
fireworks.
And
I
because
must have been sleeping.
Not at
I
midnight.
must have been
No, the
sleeping.
fireworks were earlier for us. 'Cause I heard
maybe
them.
they were celebrating Eastern time. But hopefully you write in the chat for us what you did for New Year's Eve. Today we're going to kick off a brand new series. I'm doing it right this year. That's the name of this series. For 4 weeks, we're going to talk about I'm doing it right this year. Why would we have a series like that, Joey? I'm doing it right this year.
Because we've messed it up so much
Every
in the
year,
past
right?
that we're going to try to do it right this year.
Yeah, like every year there's some kind of ridiculous statistics out there that, New Year's resolutions are done by the Friday.
Yeah, like the 15th, I think.
Yeah, so, right. It's the first Friday is what they said. There was a percentage of fall off of New Year's goals and things of that nature, which that's fine. I think we do have a little bit of like, I got to be perfect in order. It's like, no, sometimes you're starting something new that you weren't doing. It's like people that like, obviously, number one is I'm going to get more fit and they get to gyms, but you weren't doing that before. And now you're going to think you're going to go from 0 to 100 and be perfect. No, you got to give yourself some grace. And hey, this year you're going to do it right. And you're going to give yourself some grace and pick yourself back up and move on. So this year, we're going to give you some simple steps in, okay, I'm doing it right this year. Today, we're going to start very heavily with our relationship with God in spiritual matters. Okay? We're going to talk about things that maybe you've been putting off in your own life that you're like, I know I need to deal with spiritually or emotionally. And you just put off, well, you're doing it right this year. So you're going to start with making yourself better from the inside out. Like the working out bit, that's wonderful. I'm all for it. But that is an outward thing. Yes, it does trickle on the inside, and there's a whole lot of inside things that have to happen to get there. But I'm just saying, we're starting spiritual today. So in our new series, I'm doing it right this year. We're going to help you take those steps. Lily, what's one of your New Year's goals?
Read the Bible in a year.
Read the Bible. Mm-hmm. Which
we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it last week. If you missed it, we're doing it together.
And
some of us are doing it.
I know that Holly and I, we've been at it already. It's been something really fun for us. Last night, we started talking about what we were reading. Did you know this? What's your thoughts? It's been a lot of fun for Holly and I to share conversations over the same thing we're reading. Hey, what's your thoughts? And I think at one point I asked something and neither one of us knew the answer. We were like, that's a good thought, which has been fun. Lily, where can they get the reading plan? Because it's not too late. You can either catch up or just join in.
Yeah, join in. I would not stress yourself out about catching up. That would be stressful. So just jump in. We are doing the YouVersion Bible app, so download that. And then under plans, search.
We are? Because that's not what I'm doing.
One story that leads to Jesus.
I thought we were.
What it's called.
And as Lily said, don't stress out trying to catch up. Just join in right now. And then go after it because it's so fresh in the year. And don't go, well, I'm not reading the Bible the whole, but you're reading the Bible. Good things for you. It's not like, oh, I didn't start eating healthy, so why start now? I'll wait a whole nother year. What? Today we're talking about, I think this is a doozy and this is an all play for everybody. I say that often around here to make sure everybody understands. Everyone, this is for you. This isn't for your mom, pop, and everybody else out there, okay? We're going to get to that topic right after this great video that wraps up our Christmas Eve service. We were talking about the light of the world and us being the light of the world. Yes, as we read the Bible together and we study together, the whole point in that is to become more like Jesus and then continue to be the light in the darkness, shining bright. In this video is going to set that up really well on how that looks throughout 2025. Enjoy this, and we'll be right back to kick off today's topic.
That takes care of all the backyard lights. Should we go around and get the ones off the front?
Okay. Hey, and by the way, thank you. You were the only guy I know that would get up on my tall roof.
Right. Oh, is that the house you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. Come here. Check this out.
So you're telling me they leave their lights up all year long?
Oh, yeah. And depending on whatever the holiday is, they change color.
Get out.
Can't wish I could.
So July 4th.
Those bulbs become red, white, and blue.
Valentine's Day.
Pink and purple.
Halloween.
Orange. All orange.
Veterans Day.
Camouflage. And you know what? It's about the only time that we never see them.
Get out.
Can't wish I could. And you know what? When there is no holiday, those bulbs, they become little red chili pepper lights.
Those belong on fajitas, not houses.
Exactly. And my wife, she begs you just keep them on. Let's just soak in the spirit for just a little while longer, right? And my thing is, once Christmas is done and the new year is here, you take this stuff down, am I right?
Huh? Yeah, I don't know. We don't even put up lights.
Why not?
Yeah, what's the reason?
Well, the reason is the season. We celebrate the birth of Jesus.
Oh, okay. So you want to take down the lights because you don't want to celebrate Jesus all year long.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think there's other ways to celebrate the birth of Jesus.
Like what?
Well, while I'm thinking about it. What?
I didn't know you and God were,
Or what? We're what? On the outs? Is that what you're inferring? That me and God are on the outs? We're not on the outs. No, me and God, we're very tight. Very tight. We are.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Prove it.
Prove what? Are you daring me to hang lights on my house all year long?
Hey, no dare. Just, you gonna let your little light shine?
I can't. I wish I could. Wait. Man that ladder.
What?
Man that ladder. You're getting back on that roof and we're gonna hang those lights.
No. I was kidding.
Oh, I am not. Get back up there. Oh, yes. We're going to shout to the world about Jesus all year long. Honey, get the wassail on the stove. Get those Bing Crosby records out. We are going to let our light shine. Hey, where are you going? Get back here. Get back on my roof. These lights have to shine.
I love the setup there. To make it funny about it's not a light bulb. We carry the light. I think you got it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. All right, we're kicking off in Genesis. And some of this is inspired from reading the Bible plan. And during that video, we did make sure that it is the same. I did not know that. Thank you, Lily, for being on top of all of these things on how to read the Bible throughout the year. So we will put the link in the description here that you can join, and we'll make it that easy for you. Okay, so we're going to start in Genesis chapter 4, and we're going to kick it off with, let's give you a synopsis of what's already happened. We got Adam and Eve, that's the first man and woman created. They had children. Joey, what are Adam and Eve's children's names? It's 2 of them. You can choose anything. If you get it wrong, we know you're not reading your Bible for the year plan yet. Oh, he doesn't know. We're gonna go to Lily. Do you know? You can.
What are you gonna say?
No, I think Lily can go.
Oh, she's like, he doesn't want to say
It's
Bob.
in front of me, but I also did just read it. And there's more than just these guys, but Cain and Abel.
The first 2, though.
Mm-hmm. The brothers.
The first 2.
Yep.
Okay. Cain and Abel, they're very, very famous or infamous in story of Genesis, okay? And so we're going to start there in chapter 4. Already creation happened, and here we are. And this is a doozy. There's going to be a whole lot of questions. We're going to try to break it down. Let's read Genesis chapter 4. We're going to start a little past verse 1, all right? Abel became a shepherd, and Cain cultivated the ground. Joey, break that down. What are the roles?
Abel became a shepherd, so Abel.
It's okay. Yeah, a shepherd. So what is he doing?
Taking care of like the sheep and
okay,
doing that type
Cain
of stuff.
Became a what?
He cultivated the ground, so he was like a gardener. He harvested things.
Harvested. Okay. When it was time to harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best of the firstborn lamb from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel's and his gift, but did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected. Now, we don't use the word dejected very often. Maybe we should add it to our vocabulary. Lily is our astute scholar around here. Lily, what does dejected look like?
I'm not a scholar, although that'd be pretty cool. And I would just say, like, put off.
Okay, what's it look like?
Like, I don't know, like that.
Okay, well, I don't know what dejected looks like, to be honest with you. That could look dejected. Joey, give us your best dejected face. He can't do it without smiling. It's a bit hard when you have somebody that...
Yeah. Like an angry look.
An angry look, that's fair.
Yeah.
Angry, annoyed. I think Lily's face was a bit annoyed, rolling over her eyes. I think dejected is a disappointment in oneself. That would be somewhere along the line of my thinking. But here's my question for you along the journey is, how do you react when someone suggests what you've done was wrong? What do you do when somebody makes a suggestion out of love, like no derogatory, nothing mean, that, hey, what you just did wasn't cool? How do you typically respond? Lily, we're coming to you first. Typically, not the right answer.
Well, I have these experiences more often now that I'm married, which I'm grateful for.
Oh, are you? Because it sounds like
because my husband makes me a better person. But I get just like kind of dejected. Just kidding. No, I get like
you probably do because I do.
Yeah, like I get like a little insecure. Where do we go from here? This is awkward and prideful, like defensive. Even though I know he's right. So I don't really get defensive because what good does that do? I'm not 16, so I can't really get defensive. Not that 16-year-olds can, but I know I'm old enough to like have a mature response. And when you know someone's right, you really shouldn't say anything, you know?
Yeah, but
this like just happened the other day.
So you genuinely, like, I got to learn from you. You genuinely moved to... I know they're right, so I just need to correct? Or is there not a defensive? Because when Holly says something, my response usually is...
It depends on when. Because the other day when it happened, my mother-in-law was there, so I was on my best behavior. But I was annoyed, like, because I disagreed with his opinion in the moment. But he was right. Like, the loving thing would be to not blabber on about the situation I was blabbering on about.
Oh, wow. Inquiring minds.
Just people's feelings, you know? They're outrageous at times, and I think it's funny. So he just called me out, and I just settled down in the moment.
Feisty Lily.
And he brought it up later again, too, so.
Which is right.
Yeah.
Which is good to put closure to it. How about you, Joey? When somebody speaks correction or doesn't accept something you're doing, what's your first go-to response?
I would say I have two. It's either I get defensive, and that usually happens with my wife. If that's the situation, I kind of my voice just gets like angry, and I get defensive, or I shut down completely, and I just shut down and I don't speak, and I start saying how bad I am in my mind. And it's like I know that's the truth, and I just put it in my mind, and I just stop talking, and then I talk negatively about myself, and then, I just suck. I'm not.
Yeah, you internalize it.
I internalize it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think there's so many ways people respond to this. I think there's the right way, and I think most of us miss that. I think when somebody approaches me, I usually come back at them. Like a bit of a raccoon stuck in a corner. I'm going to come at you to make it more of your problem than my problem. No, that's just my natural default versus going, this person loves me, cares for me, and they want the best for me. I think that's where we need to move the needle to, is for those that really do love me respect me and want the best of me, then we got to move the needle towards let me listen to it. Because here we have Cain who's dealing straight with God. Like, we're not talking about Cain to another human. This is God who loves him. Cain, his response is dejection, is a downcast spirit versus going, why? Because here's the question. Why was Abel's sacrifice, gift, accepted, but Cain's wasn't? This was asked off camera, and I said we're going to talk about it on camera because I think it's worth talking about. So I'm going to throw it to Joey asked me, but we're going to throw it to Lily, who denies that she's the scholar of the group, but today she's the most astute we got here. Lily.
Oh my gosh.
What do we got? Why do you think God accepted one and not the other?
I don't know. I think the heart is a little different because it kind of seems like Cain's was just like, here's a little bit of what I have. And Abel's is, right? Is that the right? Yeah. Abel's was like, it says it was his best and it was of the firstborn. And what we know about firstborns are they're the ones who are the best and gifted and receive things. And also knowing the sacrificial system that is to come in a few books from now in scripture, this is a picture of what that is. And it pleased God. So it obviously was better.
Yeah, I do
Maybe
know
it was the heart. I don't know.
Yeah, I know
We don't
you
get a lot.
foreshadow something that we know of as readers of. Yes, the sacrifice system is going to come through animals and things of that nature. But I don't think God takes what's his plan in the future and judges the current.
No,
because that's not fair.
It's just easy to see.
You can
as a reader right now.
You can maybe see that, but I think if we're going to use if we're going to look towards the future, the Bible doesn't state why one's accepted and one is not, but you can gather information as you continue to read. Cain, not a good guy. And I wonder, and again, this is a question mark, I wonder if it is, and Lily said it, the condition of Cain's heart when he brings it. Because we read in the New Testament that a woman brings a small amount of, like, just a coin, and God's like, this sacrifice is greater than somebody that gives thousands of these. So it's not the amount. It's the heart of an individual. So I got to ask you, as we're doing it right this year, what's the condition of your heart when it comes to someone speaking into your life going, hey, you need to course correct? That's not the wise thing to purchase that, to go in debt for that, to date that individual, to get a divorce, whatever it is. What is your response been, and how are you going to change that to have the right heart of, I am going to be teachable? Because that's the ultimate goal, is to be teachable. To be able to, teachable is to learn from someone that loves you, wants good for you, going, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear them. You know, one indicator of that, if you're a teachable person, is you ask questions in those moments. You want to bring down the defense in your heart? Ask a sensible, reasonable, respectful question. That keeps you teachable. Teachable is humble enough to go, I don't know everything. Let me ask, how can I fix that? How did I do? How was I disrespectful to that individual? And when we see later in a moment, we're going to read it, Cain's heart is not good. So the condition of our hearts when we come to God is got to be in that teachable, right mode. It doesn't mean we can't be messy. We can be messy, but it's God, I'm coming to a big God, a God that's created the universe, sent Jesus down the cross and rise again. I'm coming to you with an attitude of, here I am, God, help me become more like you. Be the Lord of my life. Those are the attitudes we got to come with. But when we don't come like that, and we come in prayers of, God, I need you to change this outcome. I need you to change this person. Then we've just turned them into the season we just came out of, the Santa Claus God. Here's my Christmas list, and this is what I would like you to do. That's not teachable. That's not humble. And that's not allowing God to be the Lord of our life. So we really don't know the answer to this question, though it's a big one. You can read through that text. Again, Cain presented some of the crops as a gift to God. Even the way it's wrote, it sounds negative. Just some. Whereas we get Abel, he brings the best in. And so there is, if I have to, it comes down to the heart of giving your resources, tithes and offerings. Are you really tithing to a church? Are you giving 10% excitedly? I get an opportunity to partner in kingdom work? Or is it reluctant because, man, the blessings that are attached to giving 10% are not attached to a negative, uncheerful giver. We've got to move ourselves down the road to do it right. Have a good attitude. God, I present this to you as an offering, as a form of worship. Do what you want through the local church to be able to make an impact in your kingdom. Big difference. Now, you got to ask yourself, you got Cain and Abel here, right? These are the first two born to Adam and Eve. This is the two first children of Adam and Eve who, in my opinion, were just like everybody human. Every other human in the world, they are not perfect. They made mistakes, and we all want to blame, if Adam and Eve wouldn't have sinned, we wouldn't have the problems. That's a whole nother conversation. The truth is, you would have done the same thing. It might not have been the apple. It would have been something else, because we are born with an opportunity to do that. And now on this side of the apple situation, we are born with sin in our heart. We lean towards the sinful things. We don't run away from them until we encounter a relationship with Jesus. But Adam and Eve, when they partook in the eating of the apple, not that apples are bad, God said, don't eat from that tree. Everywhere else you can have, don't touch, not good, hot stove, stay away from it. Well, we can do this. They're tempted by Satan to take the apple. Hey, if you eat this, you will be like God. That's the temptation in every sin, is that we get to be like God. Not sit in heaven, but we get to be like God in the idea that to be like God is to be in control over everything. That's the temptation Adam and Eve were facing. You will be like God. Every time you spring the trap of temptation into sin, you are playing God, and it's dangerous. Here's the 3 steps Adam and Eve crossed and that we do every time. Baked inside temptation, springing the trap of sin. 1, they became convinced that their way was better than God and acted on that choice. They chose to think that their way is better than God's, and then they acted on it. That's not just Adam and Eve, that's all of us. Number 2, they became self-conscious and hid after they acted on their decision that their way was better than God. Because when sin is sprung and we realize, holy cow, we run for the darkness. Best story I got of this is I have a couple pocket knives like this one right here. And I take them out of my pocket and I put them on my dresser and leave them there for the evening. And then morning, get dressed, put it back in my pocket. Well, Epic, when he was a young little Padawan, he got up early in the morning. I'm sleeping, and he went and played with my pocket knives. And he went on his morning. I didn't know that he did this. And then I got dressed and I went to go find my pocket knife. Come find it. Asked everybody, hey, anybody see my pocket knife? And Epic kind of shyly, I haven't. And then I found my pocket knife stashed underneath the bed, underneath some paper. And I was like, I did not put it there. What? So then the detective in me starts to ask some questions. Who was messing with it? Well, Epic eventually, and this guy's a little dude. He's probably 5 years old. Comes to me with, Dad, I was playing with a pocket knife, and I cut my hand. And he had a pretty good cut across his hand, but he hid it all morning. And he hid the knife because he knew it was wrong. He did exactly, he was convinced that his way was better than what I was suggesting, because I was trying to protect him. Don't play with my pocket knives. I wasn't trying to rob his fun. I knew as a good dad, him playing with a pocket knife would be a bad dad moment, so don't play with it. He plays with it, gets hurt. What's he do? He hides the hand cut and hides the knife. That's inherent in all of us when we cross the lines on all things. When you know inside your marriage that you guys agreed upon, hey, we're not going to spend money like this, and then you do, what do? You hide. Your first default is to hide, to cover it up. You know, hey, we've made an agreement, we're not going to drink this much, and then you do, what do? You hide that you drink some, right? The list goes on of what we do. This is not just Adam and Eve, this is all of us. They became self-conscious and hid. And then the third thing is they tried to excuse and defend themselves. When God approached them after he found them in the garden, Adam and Eve, he said, hey, what's going on? Well, you know what? If you wouldn't have planted the tree there, I'd have never. If the snake wouldn't have tempted me, if the woman, this was Adam's, if the woman you created, God, wouldn't have, placing blame instead of ownership. If you're going to do it right this time, this year, you got to own some of your messes. You got to become owners of it. But the default is to look at my mess and go, I'm not the messiest. That organization is, they need to fix that. If they fix that, then my life won't be as messy. And we're convinced of this across the board. If the political system would get better, I just financially would be in a better spot. No, you wouldn't. Because you're messy, and the mess isn't somebody else's fault. It's yours. We got to own it. And understanding how Adam and Eve broke their relationship with God, those 3 steps, gives us indication of how we break our relationship with God and others. But how do you build back the relationship? Because you got to reverse these steps. We can't move on without taking a second. How do I reverse these steps? 1, you gotta drop the excuses and self-defense. When someone points something out or God convicts you, Lily, paint the picture, because that's a big churchy word, conviction. What is that? What does that mean?
Well, I would say that it starts with, you did something wrong, and then you have this, really when God convicts, it's this nagging feeling that you have to make it right and you have to change your behavior. And when God convicts, you see that it's out of this heart of wanting to change and to do right, not I'm guilted into this, because God doesn't make us guilty, but he does want us to change to be more like him.
No, that's
good. Where conviction comes. Yeah.
Yeah. To echo what she said, that conviction is a heart of there's hope and I can change and forgiveness. If you feel guilt and stagnant and unforgivable, or what you did could never be right, that's the enemy trying to discourage you and beat you up. You've got to let that go, because that is a downward spiral to just bigger messes. Conviction is, I know I can change. I know I need to change. I know I need to make things right. I know I need to stop this. I know conviction is when you've made Jesus the Lord of your life. So we must drop our excuses in self-defense. Number 2, we must stop trying to hide from God. Joey, obviously we understand in the garden situation, Adam and Eve hiding in a garden from God, God's coming down. It's easy to hide from you if you and I were in the woods.
Right.
Understandable. But how do we, today, where we're not walking in the woods with God, how does that look where we might be hiding our message from God?
I think we don't share with people what we are struggling with. I think we just keep it, we internalize it. Like I was talking about earlier, we internalize it, we keep it to ourselves, and we don't make it known. We don't want people to know that you're struggling with something, and you don't want to, and you don't even speak to God about it because you don't want to. You're scared you're gonna get. I mean, it's almost like a relationship with a father, but like you're scared you're gonna get in trouble with, or you shouldn't be doing it, and you're doing it, and so you don't even want to talk about it, and so you just keep quiet and you just don't talk about it.
I like that. I like how you correlated that to parents.
Like it's exactly what the pocket knife situation kind of with your Epic. You hide it. You don't want to, because you're scared of the consequences.
Yeah, so you don't bring it up. If you have conversation with God, you don't talk about it. You ignore it. When you feel convicted, you don't do anything about it. That's not for me. That's for somebody else, right? You project it on everyone else, but it's owning your mess. I know that's not very astute. I don't know why that word is my word today. To say, but at the end of the day, I want to make it so practical that you guys understand. Man, we got to own our messes. We got so many people in this world don't own our messes. It's everybody else's fault. Like in the United States, especially, we've just been conditioned. It's always because somebody else.
We're professionals at justifying.
Oh, yeah. That's so good.
I think that's what.
Yeah, we're professional in justification. I'm overweight because Kraft macaroni and cheese uses substances in there that makes me overweight. It's like, what? No, it's not their fault. It's that you won't not eat macaroni and cheese. They're not making you eat, right? It's like, but we're going to blame it on everybody else versus going in the ownership. And then here's an interesting thing that's happening. I think this has always been, but you see it more, is instead of doing the hard work to get our way out of something, what's the shortcut? What can I do that's going to get me to the finish line the fastest? I'll do anything to get there. When it comes to fitness, when it comes to, that's an easy one to correlate this to. You got to plug this into the area. But what's the easiest way for me to lose weight? Is there a pill I can take? Is there something I can do but eat everything I still want to eat, right? Like, it's crazy when you start looking at some of those things, like, that is the shortcut. You're not learning and developing any skills that are going to help you in other areas in your life, because you can't shortcut yourself in every area of your life when it comes to building relationships. Sometimes those hard things that we got to walk through to get better at helps build roadmaps for us when we're facing hard things relationally. When we can discipline our body, it helps us to discipline ourselves spiritually. Also, the same way, if we can discipline ourselves spiritually, we can discipline ourselves physically. I don't know if I can read the Bible in 1 year. Oh my gosh, it's called discipline. And as you discipline yourself to do that, you will become more disciplined in other areas in your life. Discipline is an appetite. The more you feed it, the more it grows. The more you starve it, the less you have in all areas in your life. And then you're sitting there going, well, why is my bank account this way? Why is my waistline this way? Why is my house this way? My relationships? Because you're not feeding the appetite of discipline. You're starving it. So therefore, you lack discipline everywhere else. Now, here's when I say this. All these things I just said, Joey, Lily, you know this is happening for those that are online, and as I speak this from the stage. People are going to become defensive. They're going to become they're going to look dejected, and they're going to blame it on all other things. And you don't know my story, Scott. You don't know. You're too harsh on all these things. And the truth is, you're responding like Cain instead of Abel.
Well,
It's a vicious
you don't
circle.
want to admit it.
Yeah.
You don't want to admit that because you like the sin. And you don't want to admit it.
Right. Temptation is called temptation because it's tempting for you.
Right.
You like whatever's on the other side of that. There's a draw to it. So the next time someone suggests to you that you're wrong, and it might be in the next 5 minutes, that you're wrong, take an honest look at yourself and choose God's way instead of Cain's way or your way. As a pastor, I have the privilege to sit across the table with a lot of people. And occasionally, I will point out, no, that is not a godly way to handle it. I can count on one hand how many people respond to that going, you're right. I'm not handling like Jesus would want me to. I don't have enough hands and toes to count how many times people burr up and they start to argue with me. And then it's like, well, this person is not teachable. This conversation is over. Because when we're not teachable, hard to be able to learn. So let's get back into the story of Cain and Abel. Okay, so we're going to start at verse 6 now. Why are you so angry? The Lord asked Cain. Why do you look so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master. There's a whole lot to unpack here because this is a window. Maybe it's a great big window into how temptation and sin is in acts in our lives. But Lily, when you hear, this is a conversation between God and Cain. He says, sin is crouching at your door. What's he suggesting?
Well, I would just think that he's saying there's always an opportunity to go your way. And for you, Cain, right now, it's very close. It's right here. And you better look out. Like God is so gracious in this moment to give so much opportunity to go the right way. And Cain, unfortunately, well, as we'll see, he doesn't. But God gave Cain opportunity, and I think that's huge. And we have it as well, probably more than Cain did. So.
And we've delayed the definition of like dejection or being dejected to this very moment. When you go to the Webster Dictionary, it's to be sad. It is to be depressed and dispirited. Isn't that a great way to sum up how we feel when we aren't teachable and somebody's going to point something out in our lives? When our spouses come to us and say, hey, I see this, and what do we become? We become dejected. And sometimes that dejection comes in, I'm not going to say anything. That is a spirit of dejection. It's not, oh man, I've got to get going. This is correct. We should all be owning this because this is a human thing. This is not women struggle with this more than men. This is humans deal with this. The only way to overcome dejection is to allow our lives to be led by the Lord more and more so that we're convicted more and more, becoming more like him. And in the process of what is the term sanctification, becoming more like Jesus, in that process, we will experience conviction where we must change. We're not guilty of anything. We are convicted. I got to walk away from the sin that's crouching right at my door. This is temptation. Cain is yet to spring the trap. That's what we're reading here. It's right at your doorstep, man. You go out that door, trap sprung, and you got a whole nother mess. God's trying to say, this is it. This is your turning point. This is your turning point. Those that are watching through iPads and phones and TV, this is your turning point. What is your spot? And it's some of you are like, you haven't even talked about it yet. And I don't like making lists because it's that. Oh, he never mentioned mine, so God doesn't want me. The minute that even enters your mind, the thing you're thinking about is the thing God's convicting you on. You're just justifying, I don't have to stop that. He never mentioned pornography. He didn't mention stealing time from my coworker. He didn't mention me stealing time from my family. I would choose to be late, and I take the long way to get home because I don't really want to be around my family. He didn't mention that, so I'm okay. There's no conviction there. But the temptation, the sin is crouching outside your door, and this year you're going to do it right. You're going to eliminate today's temptation so it doesn't become a sin tomorrow. So 5 things that happen every single time before someone springs the trap of sin. Every time. Now anytime somebody writes this, says a statement like this, Joey, somebody's always like, there's going to be a hole here. I'm going to look for the hole. This isn't always, you're an absolute. Mm-hmm. Here it is. The first thing is it starts with the thought. It starts in the mind. Now, these are all based out of scriptures. I didn't tag it with the scriptures, but it starts in the mind. It's a thought. Then it moves to an imagination. The thought that pops in sometimes just because of what comes in our lives through multimedia, through social media, through advertisement, and it just pops in there. There's this thing that pops in there, this thought. We put feet to it when we imagine it being played out. Okay? Then it moves to some form of justification. Meaning, well, my friends are doing that, and their marriage seems okay. Oh, they just bought that, so I can justify buy this. I can see myself owning that kind of vehicle. It's not practical, but I could see myself driving it. And then after the justification, we make a choice to spring the trap or open the door. Then we sin. So it's thought, imagination, justification, choice, sin. 5 easy steps that along the way are ways out. Because God says that I will always give you a way out. But we tend not to look for the ways out because we're so fixated on the trap. Joey and I were talking about we got friendly mice that live with us right now, right? Your house, my house.
Correct.
They're so elusive.
Yeah, still haven't got it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Actually, this morning we got one.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. We celebrate these things.
Yeah, I got to learn.
Yeah, I
don't know what the trick is.
So we were talking about the trick. It's funny you say the trick because we were staying around after pickleball yesterday. Go, well, you putting peanut butter. You got the old school trap, new school trap. We're just processing all the traps and all these things, and we're like, you got to make it. You got to tempt them. It's a trap, but you got to get them to not see the trap. And that's the thing in our lives, is that you don't see the trap because it didn't look like a trap. The mouse gets fixated on the peanut butter and just starts to, I got to have it no matter what that thing is. I just watched my mama die yesterday like that, but I'm going to go spring the trap. Because why? I can do this better. I'm faster. I'm younger, more agile. And gone. And we do it. Oh, that marriage fell apart because they started not communicating, or it started going out together, or what. We're going to be okay. We can handle it. Anytime we start to say we can handle it, should be an indication that you are well into this 5 steps of springing the trap of sin. Or I got this. Those phrases, when I hear they're trigger words as a pastor, oh boy. They're along the road of like whatever they're saying they're going to do, they've justified to get them this spot. I can handle it. It's just for a season. Those should be indicators for you to do some self-evaluation about your life. Examining where you are. And so what I want to do is, we've been talking about a lot. We're going to come back to Genesis chapter 4, verse 8 here in a second. But what we want to do is we want to go Waymaker. We're going to play a song called Waymaker. And the hopes in this is that God provides a way out. It's scriptural. He provides a way out of everything. He's the way maker. Maybe while we play this song, you'll do some business with God going, will you show me the way out? And maybe that's just straight up a respectful breakup, a respectful job change. Despite, oh my gosh, where's my payment going to come from for this and that? And right now, we're not looking for that. If that's your justification, continue doing it the wrong way. Oh man, if I stop drinking all of a sudden, I'm going to have to face some of these other things. The drinking helps me escape. Nope, we're looking for the way out of those things. Because this year, we're doing it right. And it starts with an adjustment in our spiritual lives. Here's Waymaker. We'll be right back to wrap up this thought right after this.
You are stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you'll never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You'll never stop working. You'll never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You'll never stop working. You'll never stop. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you You're a keeper of promises. It's who you are. It's who you are. You never give up.
I hope as you are listening to that song, that you're not just merely listening to it, you're letting it penetrate maybe a hard heart and make you teachable, that there is hope, that you've dealt with something for years. You remember dealing with this when you were a teenager, an insecurity that you have not dealt with, and you are like, this is it. I'm doing it right this time. And it's with God. It's a prayer like this: God, help me with blank. That is one of the most humbling things you can admit. God, I can't do this on my own. Help me with this. It's a frequent prayer I pray because I know that I need help on areas like this that are hitting me, that I was like, I got to deal with that. I got to work on that attitude. I got to work on that selfishness. Whatever it is that God's speaking to you, you've got to pray, God, help me. You're not meant to do this on your own. This conversation we have with Cain, hey, this is God saying, hey, the sin is sitting at your door, crouching at your door. This is God's invitation to him going, here, I'm here to help. Let's have a conversation. And we have no more information from that story. He looks dejected. God sees that he's dejected. So when I like learning that characteristic of God, that God worries and is concerned about us when we look sad and depressed, that he's going to ask, why so downcast? And then he tries to teach him, hey, if you do the right thing, but if you refuse, sin is crouching at your door, eager to control you. You got to understand, sin is a master, and it's looking for a slave. It's looking to control you. That's why it's so hard. Did you know this? I don't know if you've ever thought about this, Lily or Joey, and I've said it here and there, but no one likes this part about being a human. There is a design in us to be mastered, be controlled by a king. There's something in us. And if we don't put the true king on the throne in our life, it will be something else. Mm-hmm. It'll be an insecurity. It'll be substances. It'll be pornography. Something will become our king that gets our attention, that enslaves us. That's just the truth. The thing about man-made kings, like pornography, selfishness, pride, like all these other things that we devote our lives to, they are man-made kings and of this world. When you want to walk away from them, they guilt you, they clutch in harder and try to control and make you feel bad, and all these other things are attached to it. The king, he doesn't make you feel guilty. He's right there. He's like, I love you. I want the best for you. I'll be right here if you walk away. And so maybe it's been a season you walked away last year. You did some stupid stuff. It's time to come back. It's time to move out If you're not married and you're living with someone, it's time to move out. Why? Because I'm trying to make Jesus the Lord of my life. And I know he says that's not the right way to do this. It's what I want. It feels good. It's awesome. But God's saying that's not how I design marriage. That's not how I design relationships. So I'm going to do the hard thing and move out. Oh, I'm going to marry him. I'm going to do the hard thing. But boy, when you go to do that, it's really hard because those man-made kings have no grace. They have no mercy. They want to devour and destroy. That is not the true king. When we're led by him, it's beautiful. So let's get to Genesis chapter 4. After a conversation God had, Cain's got an option. Verse 8 of chapter 4 of Genesis. One day Cain suggested to his brother, let's go out into the fields. And while they were in the fields, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Now it's interesting. It's interesting. The second reported sin that we're reading about in scriptures happens in a garden again. I don't know if it's coincidence, but a field, they're gardening, they're doing something out, right? It's just interesting as I read that. It's like, I don't know what to make of it. It's something I've been pondering, obviously, as we've gone through the first start of the year reading the Bible, going, oh, interesting. These two things happen in the fields, in the garden. After the events transpire, verse 9, the Lord asked Cain, where is your brother? Where is Abel? I don't know, Cain responded. Am I my brother's guardian? And it's wild. Like, again, something I'm learning again with the accounts of sin in both ways. God didn't condemn Adam and Eve right away. He asked questions in hopes that we would get there with that soft, still voice. Do you find that interesting at all, Lil? Did you pick up on that as you've been reading that God's response when he knows what happened, he asks, where's Abel?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too with Adam and Eve and how it some of my footnotes said it, but like God looked for Adam first and asked where he was, even though Eve was the one who did it. And I just think that that's interesting. It was on both of them. They were both hiding. And so, yeah, it's cool that God, he seeks the people first. He doesn't seek to condemn first. He seeks them out first.
I think that's great. I think it's an opportunity, Joey, for us to repent. I think that's what God's looking for, is like, he's trying to say, I am aware of what you've done, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to come clean. Have you ever done that as dad to any? I know your kids are little, so maybe it's a bit harder to do that. But have you ever given an opportunity for Blake to confess what you already know she did? Or admit to?
Yeah, I have.
And what's the hopes?
That they tell the truth and that they come clean with, that they own it.
Right.
Otherwise,
it's more messy.
Right.
Especially as a father. Yeah. You always want to give an opportunity. You're assuming the best when you ask questions. When you're asking not to, if your heart as a parent or someone is to entrap someone, poor heart. But if it's to give them a chance to come clean, because you know it's true about yourself, and I know it. If my kids come clean first, so much easier to clean this mess up. But if they're going to choose just to hunker down and lie, it gets really, really complicated. Really complicated. To build a lie on top of a lie, oh man, not good. And here we have God in coming into a big old mess, going to Cain. Where's your brother? You got an opportunity to come clean. And this is your opportunity. If you're listening and watching, it's your chance to come clean. This is it. This is your moment. God's saying, what you been up to? You can respond with, I don't know. And then his response is, what, am I brother's guardian? I mean, I read that. Am I the only one that reads that where he's got some kind of attitude?
No.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
Like, man, God is way better than me, because I'd have just put that dude right over my knee right there and just let him have it a little bit. Because I'm just like, what? But the Lord says in verse 10, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed and banished from the ground, which has swallowed your brother's blood. What a graphic scene, and so much to be painted there. We don't have time to you should go and study just some of that. It's tremendous what's there. No longer, in verse 12, will the ground yield good crops for you. No matter how hard you work, from now on, you will be a homeless wanderer on earth. Cain replied to the Lord, my punishment is too great for me to bear. You have banished me from the land and from your presence. You have made me a homeless wanderer. Anyone who finds me will kill me. Then the Lord replies, no, for I will give you a sevenfold punishment to anyone who kills you. Then the Lord put a mark on Cain to warn anyone who might try to kill him. So Cain left the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Very wild. Actually, he went in, did you know this? This is an interesting thing. He leaves from here and makes the very first city. Did you know that? When I learned that one, Joey, it was like, And then in that city, when you keep reading, it is just a bunch of bad. Did you catch that when you read this?
Yeah. Cities are not good.
Like, I'm not going to go on a tangent on that. Like, I would align with Lily that cities are man-made, not God-made. Something to be said about that. And the dude that forms it is out of a punishment of like, he's a bad guy. Got kicked out, and he goes and forms a city. The thing and that's a whole nother conversation. Interesting, right? Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We could ponder that all day, but we don't have time. The author, James, which is Jesus' half-brother, now we're going to jump to the New Testament. And this is the thing you don't see with Cain. James chapter 4, verse 7. Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. This is the answer to all of this. And what we see, the lack of Cain possessing. The submission to God. To submit is to what, Lily?
To give yourself over to.
Okay, give yourself over. Joey, how would you say submit is what?
To give control to let go of, to submit to, like.
Surrender.
Yeah, that's
good. Here's I just looked it up, so I didn't have it in my notes. Is to accept or to yield to a superior force. And then number 2 of the definition is subject to a particular process. All of those are. It's to just say, okay, it's the prayer, your will be done, as it is in heaven on earth. Your will be done, not my will be done. This is the answer to all of this. Jesus, you are Messiah. Thank you for giving me for all of this, that I don't have to feel guilty. And we usually stop there. But the other part of that is Jesus is the Lord of our life, the CEO, the president. And we've said it so many different ways here. It's to make him the Lord of every decision. Not peanut butter and jellies. I think, oh, yeah, great. But it's like getting a new job. God, should I take it? It makes sense on paper. It makes sense to me, but is this the right thing you want me to do? And if you don't get an answer, if you don't know what to do, usually silence says, stay put. What's the last thing I told you to do? Let's get back to doing that. But we don't like that. No one likes that. Because we want, what's the future? It's like, no, I already told you what to do. Get busy doing what I asked you to do. Submit yourselves to God. Then resist the devil. It isn't resist the devil and he'll flee, because that's a lot of times how people quote it. Oh, just resist the devil and he'll flee from you. No. It's making Jesus the Lord of your life in every area. Then the devil will flee. You want the temptation to be gone from the doorstep? Submit to God. Cain didn't submit at that moment. He had an opportunity to submit, and he did not submit. Therefore, he sprung the trap, and it's just a whole bunch of mess. Never do you see Cain come back into a humble attitude. Actually, he becomes so full of himself that he thinks he's a god. And his son is even worse. Just his son sings a song of, you thought Cain was bad. I'm even, He's not saying bad. He's like saying bad as in good bad. Like, you think he was evil and can do whatever he wants. Look at me. 7 times as bad as him. It's wild. The key today for all of us is submit yourselves to God. And I already said this, but why resist a temptation tomorrow if you have the power to eliminate it today? It's taking inventory in your life. Maybe you don't have anything. You're like, I'm struggling, but you can look at it going, that could be a problem. That could be an issue in the future. I'm eliminating it today. Now, I can handle it now, so it's going to be okay. No, elimination. Cutting it off. Get rid of it. Very few people do this. This is good. Would you say, Lily, what's a better way than this is good advice? What would be all of this today? Because it's scripture. This isn't my opinion, your opinion, or Joey's opinion today. This is good what to somebody?
Good things to live by.
Okay.
Good way to live.
Okay. Joey, how would you say it as you're talking to somebody like, you go, here, listen to this podcast that Unlock Church did. This is what?
This is good truth.
Will bring peace to your life.
Despite circumstances.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you were going to add more.
No, yeah, I mean, I think it's so many times we like the fluff, but this is like just the truth. Like, this is the truth. Like, it's like we got to put him as the Lord of our life, and when we do that, we need to repent and stop doing things. And people don't like hearing that,
right? And I think what we think is being Jesus is the Lord of our life. It's going to be awesome and perfect and so flawless. But let's just go back to the recent studying of the Christmas story. Mary said yes to God leading her, and her life was chaotic. They become fugitives at one point, have to run from their own country to a foreign land. They become foreigners, refugees to another country for a little over a year. They have a newborn in hand. Then there's a decree to just a whole bunch of stuff, right? Her son gets accused of all these things later on. Just a mess. Mm-hmm. And you can all bring it back to she said yes to the leadership and the guidance of God. Saying yes to God doesn't mean life's perfect. It just means you get to be a part of the big story. You're getting to play a part in the kingdom story, not your kingdom. And if you remember moments ago, before we went to Waymaker, we were talking about God will always present a way out. Here's the scripture so you don't think I'm making it up. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13 says this: no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. What he's saying there, and this is Paul writing to a church in Corinth, is like, listen, you got big temptations in your life, and they seem daunting, and they seem like they have control over you. But he's trying to come back. No. With God, there's a way out. You might have to be searching with God. You might have to be getting things out of the dark. You might have to talk about it to people in your small group. You might have to be the word that no one likes, vulnerable in your prayers and with others. This is the meat and the potatoes of being a follower of Jesus right here. This isn't one and done, I did it once. This is a lifetime. This happens. And if people say, oh, I don't have anything, then they're not being truthful about their life. Or they've isolated themselves into a home and they don't see, I don't know how you do that. And maybe I'm totally wrong. But here I'm going to end with this statement. Sin grows the best in the dark. And if there's something you're not willing to talk about, if that's your past, then it has power over you in the darkness. If it's things you're currently dealing with and you don't want to talk about it, it should be an indicator that it's got you, or it's really close. It's the sin that's sitting at your doorsteps and is about to wreak havoc in your life in 2025. Today is God reaching through a screen saying, hey, wake up. Let it go. Let that insecurity go. But here's what you got to understand. When you let these things go, you got to fill it with something. And I suggest the greatest thing, you want to make room and time to read the Bible and do this Bible plan we're talking about, Give up something to make room for it. So you got to let go of TV, alcohol, movies, going out shopping. Well, don't just sit on your butt at home. You know what? I'm going to fill my time. I'm going to fill my time with reading the Bible. I'm going to promise you, you will not regret it. You're going to grow. You're going to mature. You're going to learn how to make Jesus the Lord of your life. It's going to be phenomenal. The change is going to come. So if we haven't said enough, hop in, reading the Bible. I know it's day 5. Who cares? This is not great job. You read the whole Bible. Like, if that's what you're looking for, a merit badge, you read the Bible, but you got nothing out of it, then, oh man, what's the point? Don't just read it till you say, woo, like me riding a one wheel. I rode it every day for 366 days. Big deal. If you read the Bible 365 days this year, because it's not leap year, but you got nothing from it, big deal. Big deal. But jumping in and going, I'm going to stay as true as I can to this, you're going to mature. You're going to be discipled. Jesus become the Lord of your life more and more. You're going to submit to his ways more and more. When given the opportunities for promotions, to purchase things, sell things, give things away, provide for the needy, whatever it's going to be, you're going to be in tune with what God wants you to do. You're going to know the rights and the wrongs. Your choice. Right? Isn't it? Right? It's everybody's choices here. This is a choice.
It is.
We call that free will, right, Lil?
Yeah. There'd be no love without choice. So it's a good thing we have choice.
Don't you wish that you could like program this to every student, like this was just default for them?
Yeah. Save them a lot of hurt.
A lot of hurting other people. Right? Joey, don't you wish that you could go back in time machine to your, I don't know, 13-year-old self?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it would.
And give them this, like, hey,
Yeah.
own your messes,
Right.
avoid the temptation. Like, oh man,
Yes. It'd be huge.
it'd be a game changer. Like Back to the Future is all about the success of the future of him, right? Like, hey, I'm going to give myself. It was Biff actually does it. I'm going to give a almanac of all the sporting events that took place. I don't know if you remember the story, but he goes back. What's it to do? Set him up for the future, be wealthy and famous, and all these things. Wouldn't it be interesting if you went back and gave them these spiritual principles like, listen, if you would just do this, eliminate today's temptation so that it becomes sins tomorrow. Sin grows in the dark. Keep everything in the light. Be teachable. Be game changer. Okay, we've talked a lot. I want Lily to pray, but she's afraid today that the more she talks, the more she'll cough. So we're not going to.
If you want me to pray, I'll pray.
No, we'll have Joey pray. We'll save your little voice. Okay. Joey, would you pray for us?
Yes. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for just your word. I just pray that that the convictions that people are having, that we would do something about it. We wouldn't hide it. We would make it known. We would put it in the light, and that you would just do what you do best and inform us and help us grow. And I just pray that you would just, if there's someone watching that is struggling with something and that they're embarrassed about it, that they would just make it, that they would tell someone about it, and that they would tell you about it, and that they would just see the growth. And I just pray that that you would do you, Jesus, and in people's hearts. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Good prayer, Joey. Thank you for everybody hanging with us. We got some upcoming events. Before that, we want to give you a chance to give your tithes and offerings. Lily, how can they do that here at Unlock Church?
Yes, you can text the word unlock to 77977 and follow the prompts there to give your regular tithes or over and above that as an offering, or you can go to unlockchurch.com/give as well.
Very simple. Thank you for everybody that gave the greatest gift over the holiday season. Very, very kind of you. A couple of things. We're going to make some changes here in January. Give you a heads up. It is not the next round of small groups, nothing's changing. It'll be saved for February. But those that are attending any small group online, digitally, in person though, you get the drift. Like you log in on a computer. We're going to move that to an online only small group, so it's easy with technology, and it'll be a discussion group of those that are online. It'll be led with a host. It will be easier for those that are online because everybody's behaving with technology versus how do we get you to see the whole room. And we just want to make sure that we're always doing something that is beneficial for everyone, that is easy for people to follow along with, and it's meeting the needs of those that are in the room and those that are digitally attending. And so we just feel as a church the best way to accommodate for those that attend small groups digitally in a physical world would be easier if we just move everybody to that. And so make sure you mark your calendar. We'll have more information for that. You can text the church for more information. That number will be put on your screen if you're like, okay, what does that mean for me? We'll give you all those details as we talk to you individually through the text message, or we can phone call you. But we just want to give heads up that those things will be changing in February. But we want to give you an opportunity to be able to attend your small group one more time to just give a little bit of love and them to love on you and say, hey, I hear that I'm getting an upgrade. We're getting our own small group digitally, and this gives an opportunity for everyone else here online to join small groups digitally. If you're like, okay, how do I do that? Stay tuned for more information on how to engage into a digital small group. It's a great way to discuss things like this in a greater capacity and easy to do through a go-to meeting style of small groups. So we look forward to that in a way of serving you guys here online in a greater capacity. And so we're excited about that. It is all out of the heart to serve this community that meets every week online in a better way. And so thank you for everybody that's been attending. We're excited about where this is going to go and how it's going to look in the future. And so stay tuned for more details on that. We also have, if we can go to the widescreen, that'd be great. We have other things that are happening. At the moment, it is the first week back in the office for us. Actually, today's the first day back in the office. So we haven't discussed all of those things, nor do we have flyers. But stay tuned for more upcoming events, right, Lil? Is that the best way to say?
That's right. Yeah.
Wednesday night is the first meeting of a students group. What's the time and location of that?
We are meeting at Shepherd of the Grove in Maple Grove. If you have a middle schooler, high schooler, you can Google the address. And we're meeting at 7 p.m. to 8:30 for our students.
It's such a great experience. Holly and I have 4 attending that. It's a great time. Joey attends that with his lovely wife as one of the great leaders there, which is exciting. And then we will have a chili cook-off happening on the Super Bowl Sunday. Who knows? Maybe the Vikings will be in the Super Bowl.
Woo!
Could be a thing at this moment. At this moment, it feels like it could. Could be. And it also could just be fluff. Other than that, I don't think of anything other prudent things we need to be. That's it, right?
Sounds good.
Everybody, thanks for joining us today.
We'll be here next week.
We will be back here next Sunday with another great topic in a series that we are calling what, Lil? Just a test.
Oh, shoot.
I will do it right this year.
There we go.
I'll do it right.
I'm doing it right this year.
I'm doing it right this year. We'll give it to you. Well done, Lil.
Yeah.
Woo! Impressive. She didn't even know that this series was. She learned it when you learned it, which is great. Joey, would you have won that one?
No, I would have totally.
What would you have said?
I would have.
Now he doesn't
I would have
know.
been.
Yeah,
I would have been blank.
I love Joey. You're a good man, Joey. Okay, everybody, have a great Sunday. We'll see you on the other side of this week. Subscribe to the channel. You know you should, because it's great content. We're going to make your life better and make your life around you better. Okay, everybody. Bye.